From the NIRSA Championship Series, this is Series Talk Live. I'm David Peters from Florida State University, joined once again by my good friend and colleague, Marty Dempsey. Marty, how you doing?
Hey, Dave, how's it going? Can you believe we've been doing this now for almost 3 years?
3 years, and some of these shows feel like they're 3 years long, but this one is not today. We're keeping it our hour, and we are joined by our executive team. We've got members of the NSC board with us, along with Val and Nicole from headquarters. It's a good group to keep you all up to date on what's going on. As usual, as you've seen in the live shows this week, make sure you interact with us through the right format. So if you'd like to send us a question, please use the Q&A feature in the Zoom window. That's how you will get with us. You can also upvote questions in that section to see if we can get to those during our mailbag portion later on in today's show. If you want to chat amongst yourselves, go ahead and do that in the feed loop. We're keeping an eye on it, but not a very close eye. So that's for you. Direct questions, please use the Q&A function. Well, coming up in today's show, we will have the rundown, the latest news from the series, as Marty and I run through that as quickly as we can, but also with enough detail that you know what's going on. We'll stop and take some time to have a good discussion about Series 2.0 with our executive team. And it is awards day. So we'll talk through awards for service awards, as well as the Ceraphane Award. And we'll have some final reminders and take some time for those questions as we have some time towards the end. So that's what it looks like coming up on this edition of Series Talk. Well, let's start with what's going on so far this spring. And as we know, back on October 13th, we received that news that we just weren't going to make tournaments happen in this semester. Between basketball and tennis and these photos from last year, it's been tough. We all know. But we went through a process for each one of these and tried to keep everyone as informed as best we could, including club basketball, for example. Marty?
Yeah, we really tried to be comprehensive across the board when it came to this. And we understand that there are different sports. They have different needs that went into that. You know, with club basketball, as you just mentioned, we're the national governing body for that. So you have these sport clubs that are looking forward, and if they don't have us, that they don't have a league, they don't have a place to travel towards. It's a little bit different than the intramural community. So club basketball, we kept in contact with our 2020 teams, any new teams that were going to participate with us in 21 to really find out if not on a national scale, can we host something at a regional or a local level? Because we still have teams and players that are itching for competition, and they're waiting to get back out there in a safe manner, of course. But as soon as the word go is ready, they're running to play some basketball. So, and we also recognize that we want to develop relationships with those continued relationships with those teams as well. So, unfortunately, after all of those conversations happened, it just came to a point where we just weren't able to host a club league, and that was consistent across the board. As we're not the only club league out there, so club basketball pretty much just did not happen across the country, unfortunately, this spring. The basketball regionals, it followed a similar process, but in this case here, we're really talking to you all, the ones that are on this, the ones that are listening out there today, our stakeholders, our NIRSA staff, our volunteers, learning about your intramural programs. And for the most part across the country, I don't think there's a lot of 5-on-5 happening even on your campuses. So really tough to host a series at that point as well. Spring soccer, as we noted at the end of fall, we had to cancel fall. Again, NGB, 100 teams that come to that fall soccer tournament. If we could support them in the spring, we would. And ultimately, we were hearing the same thing from our teams, is that travel was just being too restricted, and that we're going to have to try again in the fall semester. And then on the tennis side, Dave, since you are Mr. Chair, what are we doing there?
Well, we are in that partnership with the USTA for tennis on campus with our clubs as well as all the other programs. And the USTA looked at that just like we did and said, it's just not going to be possible this year. And so certainly that event is not happening either. They have been working very hard to offer some other virtual opportunities and kind of keep clubs engaged at a more local level, knowing that we're just going to have to build back up as we head into the next academic year. And that's really the same for our basketball leagues too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in our club leagues this year, we're still going to be in communication with our teams throughout the spring. In fact, we're going to use this opportunity as a reset. We have gone so fast over the last few years, from not even having a club basketball league to really terrific growth, but really fast growth to kind of up and down with that. So now is an opportunity for us to, what are we doing well? What opportunities do we have out there? What challenges will we face coming out of COVID? So having those direct conversations with our teams is going to be important. And then on the basketball side, we have a unique set of challenges there from a staffing level. We had people that were accepted to be at Wichita in 2020, all excited, submitted that application, some of them joining our national tournament for the first time, and then they're told for 2 consecutive years, we're not going to host that. So when we come back in 2022, how do we balance out the needs of the people that were already selected for events and this new crop, this new growth of people that have been, again, dying to get back into, the tournament field? So a lot of those decisions have been happening behind the scenes. So we're certainly still busy, even though we're not running these in-person events.
Mhm. Well, on the soccer side, certainly no national championships this year, but the soccer group has worked hard to kind of revamp some of the behind the scenes work and getting ready for that next national championship. One of those actions was formatting a committee known as Tripod before. Now will be called the Teal Group, which is the Tournament Experience and Logistics Team. There's the teal part there. But they're focused on those two big elements, and we'll have 4 people now on a 4-year term. So every year we'll bring in someone new and they will stay for 4 more years. But they're going to focus again on those 2 big elements. Logistics side of the house, helping Nicole and some of our HQ team with stats and scores and just getting things ready to go, both before and during the tournament will be the role of those folks. And then on the tournament experience side, it's helping our volunteers at the tournament site to make sure that we are all working towards making a good participant experience. And so excited to have a couple of new members joining that team, the Teal team, going forward with our soccer nationals. Emily Patterson from Texas A&M is joining as the chair of that group. Sibby Barton is from University of Michigan, and she'll be there too, alongside John Janis, who's returning, and Chad Zimmerman. So those 4 will be our Teal team when soccer returns, with our fingers crossed, this fall. In fact, it's probably a good time to just transition into that. Here is the look at the dates for next year for national soccer in Foley, Alabama on November 18th through the 20th. Looks like about the weekend before Thanksgiving. And then we'll be back in Round Rock, Texas on January 7th through 9th, the first full weekend of the new year in 2022 for flag football. So looking forward to these, but of course we have to think about some regionals too.
Yeah, we're really excited about, getting back to that national scene, but we also want to have that support because the regionals in a lot of ways can be the backbone of what we do because we are able to offer more opportunities local level. It's not as expensive to go to some of those tournaments. So we want to try to provide a structure for that to happen. But we know as the pandemic hits different places of the country and different states have responded in certain ways to that may look completely different from what we are used to over the history of the series. So we'll be ready to mobilize and to answer some questions on that and hopefully get back to a full regional as much as we can and building to those 2 national tournaments this fall. Stakeholders that are out there, I know you'll want communication throughout this. It is this group's intention to be fully communicative throughout the summer. You'll either have surveys or direct conversations or just different ways that you can provide us some feedback, because ultimately that's what drives the conversations and some of the things that you're doing on your own campus.
One of the things that is happening this spring are officials development, and that'll happen in our official development week, or almost 2 weeks, April 12th through the 23rd, where we are looking at flag football and soccer this year, actually building off of a lot of the success that we had last year with the virtual basketball clinics that were thrown together there, and really a great success in for our basketball tournament, which did not happen. So switching to some new sports this year, real excited about this entire group. As you can see, a lot of people engaged in this effort.
Yeah, I mean, look at the names on that screen, both for the flag football and soccer. I mean, just the knowledge and the mentorship that so many of those people have provided, both students and professionals over the year. And we're excited as a championship series because officials development and development in general is the calling card of what the NIRSA Championship Series is. I mean, it says it in our tagline, experiential learning through sport. And this is a lot of times how we bring that to life is through these programs. So the flag football side, led by Leanne Sermon and Ryan Wingers, they're going to be hosting 7 different 1-hour sessions coming up in late April, where they'll focus on a variety of topics around flag football. Really excited about that. And you'll have registration information open soon, and that's going to be available to all of our student officials across the country and across internationally too, for our international friends. So excited to bring that to you in late April.
And on the soccer side, that's an area that we don't necessarily do a lot of officials development at our tournaments, but we're trying to ramp that side up. And certainly this is going to be a great effort with Nicole Green, Amy Rask, and Sylvain Chepchet working together for a kind of a train the trainer. So while we've got some workshops going on a multi-day or at least multiple workshop format for flag football, soccer is a train the trainer event, and that will occur on Thursday, April the 22nd at 1 p.m. East, 10 a.m. on the Pacific side. So I'm looking forward to that as well, because we really want to dive into some other areas and help with officials development on our campuses.
Yes, we're assessing the needs of our NIRSA community. A lot of folks have said, hey, we are in need of more soccer educated people to be able to train our officials on our campuses. That is something that maybe is not as prevalent as some of the other sports, like the ones we just mentioned in flag football and basketball. And we have some great soccer officials in our field. how can we tap into that knowledge and really teach each other so that we can pass that forward down to our student officials on our own campus? So Nicole, Amy, and Sylvain, just so excited that they're going to be able to lend their knowledge to the greater officials community. You're going to be there, right, too, Dave?
I sure hope so. I need to pick up some soccer skills, so this will be great for me as well. Keep your eye out on the NIRSA Championship Series communications, whether that is at social media or through Connect, or even at the NIRSAplay.com website for information on how you can be engaged in both of these opportunities. Again, coming up in mid to late April. Something else is coming right up. It's the event that is happening in the series this year, and that is esports. Our esports task force led by Greg Durham and a whole bunch of folks who came together last summer and have pulled this together, and we're excited to have this come off for the population that we have on our campuses. April 8th through the 10th are the dates for the NIRSA Esports Rocket League Challenge, and registration opens. In fact, next week, you can learn more about all of this at nirsa.org/esports or on NIRSA Play, but real excited for esports here to happen.
We're going to have 5 different divisions between 3v3 and 1v1, some competitive and recreational leagues. So, it really a spot for anybody that is out there. I know a lot of people have asked for a long time, why, when is the NIRSA Championship Series going to get into esports? Because there's not necessarily that national governing body, if you will, for a lot of clubs to go out there and play. And there's a lot of people that have invested time. And last year when the pandemic happened, it felt like the entire country was now thrown into this esports thing. And how can the NIRSA Championship Series respond? And, this is just such a cool opportunity led by Greg Durham. We had over 50 applications of people that wanted to help serve in this role. So it's out there. People are excited about it. And, now we're bringing it to you April 8th through 10th. And you can still get involved as well. Volunteer applications are available to be the first ever shoutcasters for the NIRSA Championship Series esports event. Learn all about that on the NIRSA Championship Series website. Those applications are due on March the 19th to be the first ever shoutcasters for the National Esports Tournament. So take a look and apply.
Not a place for me until we have esports Super Mario Brothers, and I think I'll be ready for that. Until then, looking forward to have new folks as our shoutcasters. Marty just mentioned esports here with our championship. We'll have a number of divisions, and one of those in the esports competition is the unified side. But our unified task force is now a unified work team this year, and will continue on making some great strides, and they've done a lot this year. First off, I want to let you know that the Special Olympics Unified Rivalry Series presented by ESPN is going virtual. So you can see down there at the bottom of the screen the dates for our virtual college championship week, or at least the one that ESPN is presenting. And that is coming up on April 12th through the 16th. Registration or how to be engaged with that opportunity is available through March the 29th. Also, you can register yourself still to be part of the 2022 Special Olympics USA Games coming up in Orlando, Florida. That's June 5th through the 12th, 2022. Well, you might have seen that go through Connect or just seen some information about opportunities to volunteer and be part of the official staff there. Those applications have closed, but they're still sort of open. They're looking for some flag football and soccer people. So if you just didn't fill out that application, you still have a little bit more time to do that. You can learn about all of that in The Scoop, which is our new seasonal newsletter from the Unified Work Team here in the series. There's a copy of the first page of the most recent edition, which brings you news about what's happening in unified sports and highlights a unified champion school. The last highlight was from the University of South Dakota.
One of the things that I love about The Scoop is highlighting and spotlighting these different schools and their efforts, because I think that it helps build momentum throughout the country to engage in this effort. So talking a little bit about South Dakota, their story, they partnered with a group of clients from a local activity center to help raise money for somebody battling cancer through Big Pink Volleyball. And that helped elevate into a group that wanted to play Special Olympics in certain leagues. And that had so much success that now they have a full-fledged unified sports league within their intramural sports program. So, one step takes another. And now hopefully people hear this story about South Dakota and they say, hey, we've got similar stories here on our campus, and it helps build from there. That database is out there for folks. Dave, if you wouldn't mind telling everybody a little bit about that.
Yeah, we certainly have the Institutional Unified Sports Database, which the series is running just to keep notes on what's happening on all of our campuses. So if you haven't put in, for example, what you're doing, maybe what's coming up next year, because this year is kind of a little bit off, please go ahead in there and update that. You can get a link to the database through The Scoop, which is available on nirsaplay.com. And if you just have questions, Amanda Alpert at Ole Miss is more than happy to help you. You reach out to Amanda as well about anything unified sports or any of our other work team members. Another task force that has come together this year has been our social justice task force. I'm going to show you these members once again. who have come together since last summer to talk about the issues facing the series as it relates to social justice. And I know if you did not catch our podcast last month, it's available through our NIRSA Championship Series YouTube. You should. We talked to 3 great members from the Social Justice Task Force. They shared, actually 4, shared some great stories, personal stories, as well as how they hope to move this issue forward within this series. So go back and watch that. It was one of our longest shows ever because it was just such great information.
Yeah, and this group has really been working hard at building the foundation for integrating this work. The integration piece is huge because this work is definitely mandatory for the work that we provide. So getting that formally into the series, they have had a couple of focuses: disseminating information properly, educating stakeholders, and really working on equitable access to resources across our great national government, across NIRSA, excuse me. One of the things that they're looking at doing is working on building a website within the NIRSA Championship Series page, kind of like a visitor center where you can come for resources and success stories and challenges that we're facing and how we're adapting to those, and a lot of great stuff there. So they're working on building that. They're really working on building up our national events while also being a resource for the regional events that are there. And what else can we be doing at the national level to make sure that we're supporting social justice through every step of the way? Some things that they've already done. As soon as the Capitol riots incident happened, Jasmine was quick to start crafting a message, really striking that down, a strong message that came directly from the NIRSA Championship Series and spread throughout all of our social media pages. On all of our applications now, you're going to start seeing more and more social justice questions. How are you committed? How are you helping impact this this in a very positive way? And then our assessment group is also helping out with assessing our representation within the series. We got to have a baseline first so we can know what areas we need to improve on and what areas we're doing well and need to tell that story.
Well, we're getting ready to approach the end of the leadership year. Here is the current exec team, and we'll have more of them join in just a second. So Marty finishing out 2 years, 9 months, still have 3 more left. So Marty, you can't go anywhere quite yet. Have some unfinished business to finish up here before the new year. But we are excited to share with everyone today that incoming next year and joining the team will be Shane Land from the University of Central Florida, who will come on board as our second vice chair. Jonathan Johnson moves up to the first vice chair, and the chair for next year is Ashley Lax. But Shane brings a whole bunch of experience, whether that's director of officials at National Basketball, being a regional basketball host, hosting flag football workshops, being on the basketball work team, the student development work team, just a whole bunch of experience in this series I know is going to lend well for this new position for him.
What I really appreciate about Shane Land is the fact that he is somebody that will come in and he just wants to help. And he actually said this to us about a year ago is, hey, listen, put me wherever. I just want to have an impact on the series. The series has had so much impact on me. And we said, Shane, how about if you get a different vantage point? Because he had served a lot in basketball. So, hey, Shane, how about if you jump in with the student professional development work team? He's like, boom, I'm in. And let me help out in whatever way possible that is. So, Shane's always around. He's always been supportive. He's helped in a number of different ways. And I think that energy that he brings is going to be so helpful as we go into year 4 of these Series 2.0 initiatives and the rebirth, if you will, of in-person events as we get back to these. I think he's just going to be such a strong leader for the Champ Series.
We look forward to having Shane join in June. That's the leadership year goes through May here in the series because we just have stuff to figure out usually after our April event. So we'll transition to some of those new leaders, work team leaders, work team representatives, and Shane will come on board there on June the 1st. Well, that's a look at the rundown of the information that's happening. We're going to transition now into the forum where we have a chance for some Q&A with some of our full executive team. While I get ready for that, I want to turn it over to Ashley Lax for some opening comments. Ashley?
It's a scary time when they turn over control to me. So this is unplanned a little bit, only to Marty's eyes. He does have 3 months left, but Marty has had a gigantic impact on not only me, but a lot of our members, our stakeholders, the leadership team, et cetera. And so we wanted to take a little bit of time during this session with all of our great series friends and folks here to say thank you to Marty, to preview our thank you social tomorrow, where we'll more formally respect and appreciate the time and energy that he's put into the series, but wanted to set aside just a little bit of time now to say thank you and to allow for some of your all's comments to come flooding into the chat as well. We appreciate all of the effort, blood, sweat, and tears. He has not had the easiest road as a chair, and thank goodness I am not the one dealing with said pandemic. So we appreciate you, Marty. Thank you, and can't wait to celebrate you even more tomorrow.
Thank you, Ashley. I appreciate everybody out there. It's been a great road. So,
well, on to questions, and Ashley, we're going to send this one to you first because, as you mentioned, this has been an adventure year for all of us, a very adventurous year. What has this year, Ashley, been like for guiding this series through a pandemic?
This year is definitely not an easy one and challenged us creatively. We've used a lot of transferable skills that we have honed from a variety of our other experiences within the series. But I think the thing that I have loved most about this year is the engagement that we got from members. No matter what we were trying to figure out, no matter where we were going, members were along with us every step of the way, providing feedback, giving us their thoughts, engaging virtually in a variety of different things, sending us participants. We could not have navigated this year without you all. And so I think that's been one of the coolest experiences. And now we get to focus on next year and how to continue that member engagement with all of our fun back in-person sports. So definitely a challenge, but one where we've learned a lot and really appreciated the member experience of it all.
Well, and a lot of the work this year has been focused on some of those Series 2.0 principles were put together a couple of summers ago. And one of those has been to educate our members about volunteer opportunities. So JJ, I want to turn this one over to you. What have we been doing this year in educating members for volunteer opportunities?
Yeah, no, great, Dave. Yeah, I think there are three big things that we really tried to move the needle on this year. First started off with way back in the summertime, after our series summit, that we felt that we wanted to host a virtual work team member orientation right after we got everybody onboarded in the chairs going into July, that we wanted to engage all the work team members as well as educate them a little bit about what maybe they could expect when serving on a work team, as we knew that that might have is an area we could have improved on from previously. And so we hosted that orientation in July, and it was a good chance for us to talk about the history of the Champ Series a little bit and give some of that backstory and where we come from. And then also give a little bit about those updates on the Series 2.0 and some of those priorities that have come with that, and to gather some alignment with those priorities. And then also give some updates where we're going to move forward to. You know, too, it's also important to cover a little bit about what the role is of a work team member and what some of those expectations might be within some of those roles. And then we really ended on just the focus points for this year, and knowing where we're going to put our efforts forward to. As we moved into also right after through our series summit was also the thought of that we were needing to clarify some roles at our national tournaments. You know, there are several different staff members within a tournament. There's NIRSA staff, series work team leadership, tournament staff themselves, tournament directors. And so there are, with all those roles comes a lot of different responsibilities, who's making decisions, who's calling people, who's ordering things, and that maybe we need to create some more clear delineation between those roles and kind of specify those out. You know, and so we took some time to discuss that topic and started working on how we can sort out those roles clearer. And, you know, specifically that there's a lot of intersectionality between tasks and responsibilities, positional oversight at the tournament, communications between all the stakeholders, and then some of those big decision makers. And so our goal really in the end is to create some clearer position descriptions and hopefully align some of the skill competency that we feel that volunteers would learn in those roles in order to get that ready for our next round of national tournaments this next year. And so we really think that will really help educate our volunteers, not just about what we offer, but then also educating them in their own experiences. You know, and then finally wrapping up, you know, it's the addition of a vice chair role within our work teams. I think it was recognized there's a lot of work that goes into operating and leading a work team. And so with a new work team, with a new chair coming in every couple of years, there's challenges in turnover and continuity. And so the next person would come right in, just get thrown right into your first year, right? And you're like, oh, I'm gonna figure this out. So we, in similar fashion to how other committees are structured at sport tournaments, they have different levels within each committee that we found that maybe a vice chair role would help support the chair and create some business continuity going into that first year serving as a vice chair, and then we move into the role that second year as the chair. And so we added this year a chair role to flag football and to club basketball to see how that would work and provide some additional support to the current leadership of those teams. And we did find it really successful and something that we want to move forward with going into this next year. And so we are adding some vice chairs to our other various work teams this next year, with the hope of the goal would be to, in the next couple of years, to get on a routine track of having a vice chair or chair role within almost all the work teams within the next couple of years. So.
Well, JJ, you mentioned it there, when you have some more vice chairs, it gives us a way to spread out some of that work. And Ashley, this question for you, we're also trying to spread the work out outside of the sports folks. It's how do we educate the rest of our association about the opportunities for all kinds of members to be engaged in the series?
Absolutely, Dave. This was a huge focus for us this year, and there were a couple of events that we did, and there are some things that are still in the works that are allowing us to continue to spread out those opportunities, but more importantly, spread the word. I think that's been the area where we've not had as much success, as much leeway as we have with the opportunities. The opportunities are there, we just got to get people to them. And so we did a series academy this past summer, and that rolled into our info session in December, basically ways to educate and prepare our members for how to apply, when to apply, and what opportunities are out there. We saw some moderate success here, and something we want to continue to build on. Of the 90 attendees that we had at the info session in December, 20% of those applied to work teams. And so we see that as a success, especially because 90 people registered, but not all 90 actually came. And so when you tease through those numbers, we're confident that that rate is even higher. From there, we did a lot of targeted marketing. Our brand management work team worked with our assessment and our student professional development work teams to create this huge conglomerate of small groups, networking opportunities, any niche place within our NIRSA membership where we be able to tap into more talent. And so our work team chairs helped us with some intentional specific outreach to underrepresented areas. And we feel like that had a lot of success in terms of the numbers we saw. So of all of our applicants, we saw an increase in total applications. So this year we had 219 total applicants, with 128 of those being unique. To compare to last year, we only had 69 unique applications. So we almost doubled how many people were applying to serve on our work teams. From there, 45% of our applicants come from outside of sport programs. Huge number for us to be able to celebrate when we talk about bringing in campus rec experts to the series, not just sport people into the series. So our marketing experts, our facilities and event management experts, someone in assessment being an expert, right? These things are things that we want to continually build upon and get better at. And I think we've started to tap into that recipe to get better. From here, we definitely have some work to do. We have identified some different demographic areas that we want to tap into. This year is just the baseline. Now that we have demographic information, we know where we're lacking and where we need to target an increase for next year. And we'll start making those measurable, marked improvements in our diverse representation. But some of the areas we already focused on are female participation. Our applicants rose from 29% to 34%. So we're seeing in real-time numbers a lot of this increase in outreach paying off, and we want to continue that success going into next year.
Well, and certainly with so many applications this year, Ashley, we've got our work cut out for us on trying to figure out who's going to get on those different work teams. And so we appreciate you also working through the new application process, a lot of new information there to help us make sure that a variety of different skills are represented on the work teams. JJ, I want to shift gears a little bit and talk to you about some of the participant experience. That's another one of those goals that we have here in the series, is enhancing the participant experience. So, of course, we didn't have any in-person events to work on the participant experience in person, but what have we done since then to at least connect with our participants?
Yeah, I know, definitely has been important to figure out what that's going to look like this year. So I think there are three different highlight areas that I want to just talk about and how we've managed to enhance and engage that participant experience even without our in-person events. And the first one is we all like cat videos, but I think everyone also loves a good trick shot and a good skill challenge video as well to go along with it. So we introduced a soccer skill challenge on Instagram earlier in the fall in order to engage our students and our club sport athletes with something fun they could do with their teammates or with themselves, and to submit a video on Instagram of 3 different types of skill challenges. And so I think that was successful, and that we had 11 different entries with 3 winners coming out of each of those as well. And I could see that, yeah, so there's a lot of cat lovers in our work, in our series teams and stuff. So I think that was a really cool thing for us to do from a skill challenge standpoint and ways to engage someone virtually. Then also from the esports standpoint, esports has been on our radar for a few years now, and so it just hasn't quite got the green light in order to move forward there. And so we think with the idea that we couldn't do any in-person events this year, that there are virtual options out there in order to engage others, and that we still needed to engage our students. We still need to find that platform for our students as well. And so offering eSport was that answer in lieu of those traditional sports. So that task force with Greg Durham leading that group, that it was formed earlier with colleagues who are content experts in esports and players themselves, and they were tasked with envisioning and delivering a national tournament. And so now we have the first ever Champ Series Esports National Tournament, which will be in April. And so I've been working closely, and big kudos to Greg Durham and his team for a lot of their intentional effort and work to get that up and rolling for this April. So then kind of closing out there that, we, as far as club basketball goes, with the lack of being able to go to a regional or being a league for club basketball, those club athletes were missing something there too. So we didn't want to lose that engagement with our club athletes. And so there wasn't a focus by the club basketball work team to really provide some consistent messaging and communication throughout this time. And so a lot of this communication was what they may experience, what can expect by joining this league, some conference alignments and confirmation of schools that would actually be in these different leagues and conferences, looking at recruitment and engagement of those club athletes and how we can get others into our NIRSA club basketball leagues. And then just some helpful tools for funding and sponsorships. And so a lot of this was delivered by email, but the hopes of this work team is to include some more virtual roundtables and discussion pieces in the future.
We still have some more work to do, as I mentioned already. Still 3 months left in this year, and one of those projects is a Hall of Fame that we've been speaking about on the series. And I know we're going to come back and talk more about that, including on our end of year opportunity later this year with another series talk in April. But the next term, though, is right around the corner, just a few months away. And so I want to turn over to Ashley to talk a little bit about what are some things you feel like our stakeholders should be on the lookout for in the next term.
Oh, Dave, I am so excited for our upcoming series year events, a return to series, big thing that we're all waiting for. As much as we've loved all of the adapting to the virtual world, we are people. And as soon as we are able to safely return, we are going to be in-person people. And I'm super excited about that. So our sports work teams are hard at work right now, already planning for next year, recruiting hosts, going through logistics, making sure that our championship events are going to be just that, true championship experiences. From there, I am really excited about our social justice efforts and us making measurable gains in social justice. So our task force hard at work with their own strategies and initiatives, and us working with all of the work teams to embed social justice into what we do from the foundation up, so that it's not something that we have to plan and coordinate and checkbox. It is something that is fully embedded and a part of who we are. From there, I'm excited to see what the future of esports is in our series. I don't think this is the case. Hopefully it is a wild success and we're able to roll out a lot more esports opportunities. But I think we're also excited to see how all of the new volunteers, those that are outside sport programs, how they start contributing to the series as well. So there are a lot of things on the horizon that we're excited about, and we're just hoping that our members are ready and will join us along the ride.
Indeed, plenty coming up. So Ashley and JJ, thanks so much for taking some time to cover some of those issues a little bit more in depth. We want to take some time now, though, as we shift gears to talk about awards and talk about some thank yous for great work that's been accomplished this year and even before that with some service awards. Let's start, though, with this group on the screen now of our Series Academy facilitators. It really goes back to that time where we were making sure that we were educating our members. And this group of folks stepped up to the plate and were part of our Series Academy efforts last summer from every region, all walks of NIRSA. Glad to have this group on board for the effort that they did to put together that great event last summer. We look forward to building on this in the future. It wasn't a one-time deal. but we had to get it started somewhere, and we got it started virtually, and appreciate these facilitators for helping that out.
Another thing that we did last summer was host a social justice roundtable. This really led into that social justice task force that was created. But the first step in that was to find out from our stakeholders what topics were important, where did we need to focus our efforts. And this group here really helped lead the way with that. We had over 60 members that were there at that session. And these folks led some great small group conversation that really helped provide some stability and a foundation for that social justice task force and some direction for them as well.
We are excited that we have some members that worked on some series events this past year who will be receiving the NIRSA Annual Service Awards. You can see the group here at the top: John, Natasha, Michael, Bonnie, Sheldon, and Kara, who are engaged in working on the basketball clinics last spring as we got those off the ground. And we already talked about what a success they were because we're moving into flag football and soccer this year. But congratulations to that group who will receive an annual service award this year.
And then on the individual side, it is my honor again to recognize Scott Flickinger, who was my predecessor as the NIRSA Championship Series chair. But Scott was being recognized with a service award for just so much more than just being the chair. He is involved in every aspect of the series, whether it's providing his social media talents, whether it's providing his voice talents, whether it's just, hey, at the time that we need something to do at home, a Socks of NIRSA competition, I think we're gonna have a Cats of NIRSA competition now based on the chat, but Flick is just, he's always innovative, he's always creative, and he always puts a smile on your face. So it's such a well-deserved honor for a respected colleague. So thank you, Flick, and congratulations.
And last but not least, on the team side is the Tennis Ace Award in collaboration with our partners at USTA. And congratulations to Lorain County Community College in Ohio for their award of the Tennis Ace Award this year. All right, it's time for the prestigious award from the series, and that is our Ceraphane Distinguished Service Award. And here to take the reins on that is Marty. Marty?
So the Ceraphane Distinguished Service Award recognizes a NIRSA Championship Series volunteer who embodies the spirit of Ceraphane. He was a longtime NIRSA member and a Championship Series leader who passed away while serving on the NIRSA Championship Series executive team back in 2017. A highly respected member of the intramural sports community, Sarah had been a part of the campus recreation and intramurals department at Georgia Southern University for many years. She was active in extramural tournaments across the United States for over 2 decades and was part of the NIRSA Championship Series since its inception in 2006. She served as the tournament director or a committee director at over a dozen national championship events in both flag football and basketball. Known for her masterful organizational skills, Sarah could always bring calmness to sometimes chaotic tournament days. But most of all, her colleagues remember her for her positive spirit. Sarah became a mentor for dozens of tournament committee members and volunteers over the years, inspiring many to elevate their service to NIRSA, the Championship Series, and our thousands of participants. Sarah was an amazing colleague, mentor, and friend to many NIRSA members. And in the 4th year, we are honored to recognize a member that embodies her spirit for service with the Ceraphane Distinguished Service Award. Before we announce this year's winner, let me take a quick moment to recognize the previous recipients of this incredible honor. Dan Hazlett from Georgia Tech in 2018 is the inaugural winner. Howard Taylor from Purdue University in 2019, and Brooke Turner from the University of Alabama in 2020. So without further ado, NIRSA, the NIRSA Services Corporation, and the NIRSA Championship Series are proud to honor Mark the Shark Williams from the University of Notre Dame as the 2021 recipient of the Ceraphane Distinguished Service Award. Shark, as many of his friends call him, is being recognized for his leadership and vision when on the NIRSA Services Corporation board, the chair of the NIRSA Championship Series flag football work team, and member of the Series 2.0 task force. Mark was a driving force to help create strong mentorship-driven officials programs. He helped adopt the all-tournament committee configuration as we know it today that's been used for many years, and helped build the foundation for a successful tournament structure and the initial brand identity of the series. His volunteerism at many regional and national tournaments in various roles of support and leadership, where he sometimes served along Sarah, has helped usher in opportunities for many professionals and students in our field. Shark never made you feel like anything other than family. No matter what role he played, he was never too big to come learn more about you and your own personal story. Personally speaking, I have always admired Shark's ability to connect with people on a very genuine level. He can lead from any position on the team and was happy to allow others to bask in the spotlight, much like our dear friend Sarah. So Shark, thank you for being the friend and confidant to so many within the NIRSA family, always listening and always lending your support. You truly embody the spirit of this award. So let's take a moment to see a quick video in tribute to our award winner, Mark the Shark Williams.
Hey Mark, the 2021 recipient of the Ceraphane Distinguished Service Award. That's so well deserved. I've often said, any NIRSA event that you're on staff, it's already a better event, which is why I always try to get you into Atlanta as often as I possibly could. You just have a way to make others around you just better, inspired, motivated, and they want to be better around you. From your committee work, work team chair, event staff member, and certainly your role as an NSC board member. Your long and storied commitment to the series is inspiring. I also want to say how much I am proud to be able to call you a friend. I know that this award has emotional significance to a lot of folks around NIRSA, but I also know Sarah is smiling, seeing your name. So congratulations. I speak for so many when I say thank you for your commitment to the NIRSA Championship Series.
Congratulations, Mark the Shark Williams. I'm incredibly honored to call you a friend and colleague. And today, the gratitude on behalf of the NSC board for your contributions to the NIRSA Championship Series. So well deserving of this honor of the Ceraphane Award. My early days as a student, I remember you at some of the first events I worked. Supportive to so many students and professionals along their journey, but also capturing those powerful moments that we will all remember that impacted us. Your leadership in flag football and as the NSC board president supported the series and brought it to where it is today. So thank you and congratulations.
An outstanding individual and a really good friend once told me, the work is the reward. That outstanding individual and that really good friend was you, Mark the Shark Williams. I just want to say congrats. Congratulations, Mark, for being the 2021 recipient of the Ceraphane Distinguished Service Award. What a great honor, Mark. You've been described as a man of honor, someone who is dedicated, someone who is willing to give their all. And I would say, as a friend, that definitely describes you. You, my friend, are one of those unique individuals who embody Sarah's spirit and selflessness. She will be so proud of your humbleness and the servant heart that you have for others. Well done, buddy. Well done. Congrats again, my man, and continued blessings.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2021 recipient of the Ceraphane Distinguished Service Award, Mark the Shark Williams.
Thank you all so much. I got to start with this. I'm the most unphotogenic person that I know. And it's true that I have a great face for radio. I cannot take a great picture. But with that said, I just want to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for this honor. There's an old African proverb that states, it takes a village to raise a child. And many of you have helped to play a role in raising this child in his NIRSA life. My faith, my family, my friends, and football saved my life. My faith, my family, my friends, and NIRSA helped me make a life and a career. In my younger years, I had a mind that was like a steel trap, and now it's more like steel wool. So please forgive me if I forget a name or place. No disrespect is intended. My father once told me, son, give folks flowers while they're here, because when they're gone, it won't do them any good. So I hope I've given you all flowers, so you know how much you really mean to me. There are only two negative things about being awarded this honor. One, I'm going to forget someone, and number two, I'll talk a little bit later. To you villagers who helped raise me, thank you all for the many folks I met on the way to this honor. Lots of miles in the old WKU white number 42 van that I fondly called the space shuttle. From the mountains of North Carolina to the beaches of Pensacola, we traveled a lot of miles while rigging up a TV and a VCR so students and the student officials could watch a movie on the road. So first I have to thank God, my parents, uncles, aunts, cousins, brothers, my nieces and nephews. They built the foundation. Next, my friends and family from the city and the greatest of the Great Lakes, Erie, Pennsylvania. Bud and JD, thank you very much for your friendship and your love. And to all the folks on the Lower East Side of Erie, Pennsylvania, thank you for teaching me so much. To my supervisors, Mike Corbett, Don Henry, Dave Cherico, Tom Herman, Jerry Leitner, Howard Bailey, Nancy Giroux, Jane Newfield, Casey May, J. Rob Kelly, Joe Buffalino, Steve Ray, David Peevler, and my fellow Erieite and current supervisor, Brian B.C. Coughlin. You let me go play for work, and I got to go to all of the best places too. Thank you so much. Thank you to you folks. Thank you to the folks who I got to work with at my home schools. These folks either held down the fort while I was gone or my partners in crime and accompanied me on the road. From Loyola, my XO, the M, the Big Cat, Dr. Z, Chocolate Wilk, Amanda Wright, Dang Gina. From Seattle U, Hotel, the Moral Compass, the Iron Man, Gunny, Butch and Sundance. From Notre Dame, Ariane, Drew, Kendra, Jenny, Juice, Veronica, Mr. Cub, Tony, Nate, Hank, Chuck, Number 8, Veronica, Justin, Prime Time. I just like saying that. Lana, Kathy, Janice, Carrie, Jeff, Tab, Kenton, Lee, The Bad Axe, AXE, Amy, Top, and Ed. Thank you all for everything that you've done to help me with that. And I guess if you work with me long enough, you get a call sign. Thank you so very much to Ohio U, The Ohio State University, University of Kentucky, University of Louisville, Chapel Hill, Hendrix College in Arkansas Central, UCLA, USF, University of Arizona, Arizona State, Old Dominion, Georgia Tech, Murray State, Gannon, Mercier's College, my alma mater, Seattle University, Loyola, Chicago, TCU, the University of Alabama, University of Florida, University of Dallas, University of Texas, UCF, NC State, Southern Miss, University of Wilmington, University of Notre Dame, and of course, Western Kentucky University. I hope I haven't forgotten any place, but my apologies if I have. These are institutions of higher education that welcomed me with open arms, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, either for a tournament or a clinic. So there are a few people who helped to raise me with opportunities and to work their tournaments. I was recently described as the weird old guy taking pictures with the Pittsburgh Pirate hat. I take offense to that because I wasn't that old back then. Little did anybody know that I was doing a little intelligence gathering and reconnaissance. Being the tournament photographer gave me the opportunity to go to any clinic and meeting I wanted to. So when it came time to take a leadership role, I took the best of those great places and used their information at our tournaments. Thank you to Steve Big Daddy Ray. He let me come to the national championships to be a flag football clinician. I got to work my first game with Larry Van and Bradley Petty. And I think Anna Lee was on the field. So I go out at halftime, I look at them. Did you guys do a good job? They said, yes, that was enough for me. Thank you for all the other folks who welcomed me to New Orleans. Dave Gaston, Stan Campbell, Dr. Bradley Petty, Richard Romero, and so many more. I have to thank the great state of Kentucky and Dale, Smitty, Hatfield, Deborah, Happy, Natasha. You all made Kentucky a home. Chris Morris and the many, many talented OU crew. Wow, what an outstanding experience and such great hospitality. Next, I'd like to just say thank you to Kenny Hill, Charles Anderson, Dexter, Deuce, and I'll include Jeff Schmidt, all of those folks at the Ohio State University who helped me. Columbus treated us like family when we came to visit. Side note, if you ever need a flag football end zone painted and you need it painted right, call Jeff. Jim Eubanks at Chapel Hill, true hospitality, friendship, and an education. I met President Davenport there. Dre Bly, Julius Peppers, and a player with a switchblade didn't stand a chance against David. Jim Wilkening, Gary Cahan, and Andre at UCF. Nothing but friendship, respect, hospitality, and love. Nick DeLuca, Nicole Widmer, Adam Pruitt, Brian Smith, TC, and Kmart all welcome me to the West Coast. Thank you to my big brother, Stan Shingles, for everything. Kevin Doc Marbury, Mo McGonigal, Jocelyn Hill, Juliet Moore, Dr. Gene Holt, Herman Williams, Felicia Tittle, Bill Hogan, Paul Wilson, thank you. And Tony Daniels, what an inspiration. I want to be you when I grow up. All of you inspired me and gave me the nudge to get involved and or were always there to help me when I needed it. My new best friends, President Wendy, Nicole, aka Doug's friend, NIRSA Brittany, and President Kara. You've helped me and you may not even know that you did it or how. To my brothers and sisters on the NSC board. I was probably the worst president ever. I'm a political science major, but never remembered Robert's rules. Or did I? Hawks, Jen, Stephanie, Stu, Tim, Michael, and of course my bodyguard, David Bowles, who said, Shark, if any stuff comes up that's controversial and you don't want to deal with it, just let me know. I got your back. Thank you. Also to you, our 2020 NIRSA Honor Award winner, Eric Nickel. When I was heavily involved in NCCS and the ACIS wars, Eric was leading things on the NSC board and gave a lot of support. Pam Watts, thank you for the opportunity. I sincerely appreciate it so much. Thank you for the folks who were a pleasure to work with on the NIRSA circuit. My basketball partner in crime, Gene Sherry, thank you. Andre Love, birthday brother, Jared Jackson, O.C. Weefel, Anna Castillo, Sheldon Tate, Marty Dempsey, Ashley Legs, Dave Peters, Jonathan Johnston, Flick, Sam Axley, Aaron Hobson, Dave Parker, Justin Cato, Seth Thomas, Randall Ford, Mark Ritter, my man Spivey, Scott George, Amanda Alpert, and Caesar Woods. And this just to name a few. I know Eddie Simmons, there's so many people I could keep on talking, but just thank you all. All the Champion Series executive teams and the Series 2.0 folks, thank you. Myron Washington White, thank you for the invite to friendship and for allowing me to watch you and Chad Ellsworth work together as partners in the great state of Arizona and in Region 6. Jason Worley, Chris Marks, Eric Hunter, True USF Hospitality. Michael Bond, Mark Krager, Tricia Lasavio, Jackie Moffitt, Chris McGee, thank you. Every tournament I went to always seemed like it was somebody from USM, so thank you, Southern Miss. To Dave Scott, I got to follow Dave around as his tournaments. Thank you for teaching me how to let your folks do their jobs at the tournament. I learned so much. Dave is the original problem solver and stain eliminator. To all my brothers and sisters at WKU, I love you. I'm a Pennsylvanian for life because of you, so thank you so much. Doctors, Gibson, Bad Brad, Hotel, Bird, and Dr. Spencer Jr., Top Cat, 1717, Dale and AD, Charlie, Rice, Tony, Kimberly Faye, Drip Drop, Todd, Alyssa, Becky, Ice Whitaker, Preacher, Chuck McNugget, Brandy, Sprinkles, Phillips, Sam Eagle, Justin Timberlake, T.Y., Laurel Earlay, Luke, Matt Foster, and Sarah Irving, the playmaker. Rest in peace. Speaking of Chad Ellsworth, thank you to Chad, Brooke Turner, and Jacob Tingle for thinking of all this extramural stuff and being outstanding colleagues and even being better friends. Val, I messed up that one time that I know of. So again, I apologize. I'll just say this. Whenever Valerie Splash McCutcheon called me, I always heard the sound of opportunity knocking. She offered me so many opportunities to get involved and to help and be relevant in NIRSA. Thank you, Val. I wouldn't be here without you. Dan Hazlett, thank you for asking me to be a part of your merry band of extramural folks. I think that Georgia Tech has overtaken first place of the most visited NIRSA locations for me, just edging out the Ohio State. Dan, I wouldn't be here without you. Leadership, help, and friendship Thank you so much, brother. A quick shout out to the 100 Black men of NIRSA and Seneca Wilson and Damon Pryor for your friendship and leadership. If you were here when we needed it the most, so thank you. And I can't forget my nominator. It means so much that someone thought that much to think to nominate me. Thank you. Lastly, I'm so very flattered to be receiving this award because of who it honors, Ceraphane. So this is my honor award, my Hall of Fame, my Oscar, my mic drop achievement, because I know Sarah Elizabeth Fane. When I think of Sarah, I think of hope and joy, hard work, her smile, taking care of business, a positive, never give up attitude, and always, always a welcoming hug. To know her is to love her and to never forget her. I hope we can all embody a little of Sarah's qualities during these crazy times. This COVID thing and the social injustices that we're all dealing with are all things that Sarah would have struggled with, but she would have found a way to make you feel better and would have worked to make things get better. She'd have called me just like Jim, Gino, Brian, Dan, and Jen did, just to say, hey, how are you doing? So be like Sarah and get comfortable with being uncomfortable and talk about the tough things and make a difference in the lives of your friends and colleagues, but more importantly, make a difference in the lives of our students, because that's why we do what we do. One of my favorite memories of Sarah is with Marvin Green from Florida A&M. Marvin was the Mike Tomlin, Bill Belichick of flag football back in the day, and his teams were always playing for or winning a championship, and there were a lot of great teams back then. Marvin was always looking for an edge, and there was an issue with the color of jerseys. So Marvin wanted to talk to someone. I started to walk over there. Sarah said, I got this. And I said, are you sure? She said, yes, it's my job, because she was the director of competition. So I watched the two of them discuss jerseys for a few minutes. Neither raised their voice, and it was very civil, and it came to a conclusion that Sarah correctly interpreted the rule. Marvin went to get the other jerseys. As he walked by me, he had a big smile on his face. And right before his game on the sideline, he walked by and he just said, Sarah's good, and we both laughed. That is Sarah, strong-willed, fair, respected, loved, and always made you smile. My last thank you goes to America, Brooke, and Anna. Thank you for taking care of my friend. My second regret is there will come a time when someone will win this award and they won't know Sarah. So I'll leave all this to all of us. I hope and pray that we can keep Sarah alive and with us, living out her best and brightest qualities, and by keeping those wonderful Ceraphane stories coming, because they're all great. Thank you again. I'm not worthy of this award. I hope you all have an outstanding rest of your day. And again, thank you. I am touched and honored.
Shark, thank you. I just watching the faces that I could see on my screen. I think we've been all been wiping away tears. So appreciate those great words. And thank you so much for your contributions. Well, it's hard to follow, but I'm going to try to wrap this up as we've just got a couple of seconds left today. So allow me to share and show you what's coming up in the series in the next couple of weeks, and maybe in the next couple of hours. Our series Thank You Social is tomorrow. So those of you who have an invite and a link to that, don't forget that is tomorrow at 1 p.m. East, 10 a.m. West. Come on over and give some words to Shark as well, because we'll all be hanging out at that time. The Series Talk podcast will return in April. We'll close out this year and talk about everything that's gone on and prepare for next. So hopefully you'll join us for that. And once we get our new leaders in, the series will have its leadership summit. That will also occur this June. So lots going on. Follow us all over social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the hashtags you need, and our website. This is Series Talk for the NIRSA 2021 conference and a production of NIRSA, Leaders in Collegiate Recreation.